So remember when I said my gacha game addiction got worse? I've healed now. I'm better. Sort of. Now Wuthering Waves has taken my life to a point to where even the game tells me to take a break, and Shorekeeper is now my ideal woman. Not only that, but I have made the gravest mistake. I spent money on a gacha game. But it was a skin, so it was worth it, and honestly with how much fun stuff they added into the game in Renacida, I honestly, truly believe they deserve my money. In a gaming space where the live service model seems to only want to suck you dry in the least fun way possible, I decided to speak up with my money, and hopefully it's a message to competitors to step up their game if they want to top this. Anyways, to the big question at hand, is Wuthering Waves still peak like my past self claims? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this whole video. I have a lot of things to talk about that got added, despite the fact that I have explored only, half the map, and I did one quest. I was going to do this video after I completed the update so I could make a comprehensive review, but after seeing what has gotten added to this game, and everything that I've already played, I had to make the video now. Firstly, everything between last time and 2.0. A lot of things from my last review either still holds true or has gotten better since the last time. Everything from the hot women, combat, and open world is pretty much still true, but with new additions and quality of life to it. There's now a character that swings on vines and uses a flower to explode, spinning Rubik's Cubes, and Shorekeeper literally being your sunshine. Or I guess your Starlight instead, but it doesn't roll off the tongue as easily. Speaking of new characters, it seems like I was correct in my statement about the animation power creep. Like, so far characters still haven't beaten Jinshi's damage by much, if at all. But I mean, look at some of these animations, like...
Glory demands more. In the name of the Montellis. Don't run. Keep the dance going. Iron block you.
I swear, the first thing I do with new characters is look at their animations, because there's so many that I can look at and appreciate. They're all high quality too, and they just have a bunch of minor details about them that I really enjoy looking at. Now that I'm at endgame, I can explain how the grind is here, unlike in my last video where I said I was around mid-game. I can say for certain it's gotten better over time, because now you can use 80 wave plays for extra rewards instead of 40, which is a feature that somehow every other gacha game I played didn't have, and it feels so good to have a dev who makes quality of life changes like this. It halves the amount of grind, which is nice, because now I only have to log in for 5 minutes for most dailies. I've heard it's from people using the feedback feature as well, which encourages me to participate as well. And I appreciate them for what they do, if any of them are watching this. The one thing I've seen as a point of contention is the echo grind for some people, which I didn't go into very much in my last video, other than the concept of getting echoes at all. For me, I didn't find the echo grind too bad, because I'm not turbo optimizing my characters for god builds. You don't really have to, except for the tower, which I'm fine with not doing. So I have more fun going horizontal instead of vertical when it comes to increasing the level of my characters. That, and I want a DPS of each element before committing to going vertical. That, and I'm okay with not getting 30 out of 30. I have a ton of echoes just saved up from grinding materials and events, so I think it's not as bad as people say, unless you optimize to the fullest, which I could see why people would complain about it if they were going for that. The story was way better than before for me personally. The Black Shores Act was fun to experience and had Shorekeeper in it, so it's peak. The concept of the Somme Noir and that permanent event that came with it was pretty cool to go through. Seeing both the concept of a dream world with two opposing forces that need balance in order to coexist, and characters and what they dream about, whether good or bad. It adds a little bit to each of their characters, which I appreciate them doing instead of just leaving older characters into purgatory where they're never talked about again. I do hope they keep older characters in the story or event stories sometimes so that we can invest more into the characters emotionally, which is what Blue Archive does really well, and probably why they're some of the most loved characters in the gacha game scene. Beach episode when Kuro. This event in particular also had a fun little mode where you ran from point A to point B using these cat paws that made you run at double speed and had a one-shot attack during it. It was a fine item that seemed like most people did too because they brought it back in 2.0. The event led to another event, which was a roguelike mode that you could pretty much run anyone because echoes weren't counted for stats, and you got random buffs throughout after every single time you beat a level. It was actually a really fun mode that gave some really good rewards. Like, it would give you 12 drops per week for echoes, as well as just random materials. You also could spend whatever currency it gave you for pulls, for level up materials, and other things, including a weapon skin where you could have an invisible sword, and there was one for pretty much each type. I was hoping it would be you could put it on every character, but you can only put it on one. But it's fine. And the fact that it's even there at all was awesome to me. I'm not sure if they're going to bring back this mode anytime soon, because although I don't know if it's already back because I haven't done the quests yet, I pretty much have skipped the event tab other than for the pulls. And I really wanted to come back because I really liked it being a mode that I needed to try in, but I didn't have to have like the most built characters. It's really fun to really, actually feel like I had to be good at the game to beat it, which I already said before, but it was another good example of like an event that I liked because of it. Moving on to the Black Shores. The Black Shores had these trials and mini boss fights with normal enemies but with extra challenges for you to do, which is a nice little shakeup. Something extra, which was nice to see. The music has also improved to a point where I actually put the songs in my playlist now, which is a high honor in my book. I don't add very much to it very often. The last time I had was for like a Vocaloid song, and that was like 3 months ago. There's one that's in a language I do not know. However, it gives me monkey listening to tape recorder vibe, and the battle music, which I actually go there to fight to listen to it, which says a lot about how much I like it if I specifically go to the place to listen to the music as I'm fighting. There's a lot of quality of life since last time too as well. You can teleport the bosses and task the fields after beating them once. Echo level up is slightly easier because you can click one button to get to the ability to try and roll a substat, which is nice. Bolt conversion for echoes, wave plate reserve at half speed, which is honestly not too bad in comparison to other games that also have it, which is usually a little slower. Echoes display what stats they have on capture, and probably a ton more that I missed because it's basically replaced what was used to be, and it feels natural now. All that being said, that's only everything before 2.0. I've only talked about the bun and maybe the lettuce, just delicious hamburger of an update. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. All I know is that every like 20 seconds I had to clip something because there were so many things that got added, both minor and major. And I guess with that, I'll start with the biggest thing that got advertised, which was flying. They took the Marvel route with this and pulled a "they fly now" moment. It doesn't work on Superman 64 rules normally, which is a shame. It more works on Paper Mario 1000 Year Door rules, where you go down fast and use the momentum to go back up. Unless you press sprint and say, fuck it, I'm Superman now. They could have just done this and it would have been amazing because there's so many high buildings for you to jump off of to fly. But Kuro, being the chads that they are, didn't stop there. They have an Echo, also, that can launch you up like a slingshot, and you can fly that way too. And I believe it refreshes your stamina if you're in the air as well, so it lets you fly longer. Now this also leads to my next thing, Renacida as a whole. I mentioned the fact that this Echo launches you, but it's a friendly one. In fact, all of them within the towns are. It's something that's really unique about this place given our experience with Echoes so far being basically Pokemon if the furry appeal was taken out. You can see them living amongst people, doing things like playing in a band, entertaining people, banking, or just walking around being nice to people. I still have no idea how they did it, but I haven't played the story yet, so I assume it's explained there. Not only that, but the place is just gorgeous to look at and run around in. There's a bunch of small things you can do here that gives it more personality too, like being able to take a bath in public. Finally, I could do two things at once, public indecency and getting a shower in. A jukebox Echo that you can also collect the songs for by hitting this bug. There's also these gondola ones where you can basically just cruise around in the river. And there's also ones for outside the town too, but that'll come later. I'm just so glad that they have all these Echoes to just look around at and see that they really are coexisting with them. I also appreciate that Kuro only decided to make a tub Echo and not a toilet, because we all know what people would have done with that. There were small updates too. There's the portable synthesizer, exploration percent rewards, which gives flight stamina and other rewards for doing things like killing the bugs that give you asteroid, finding chests, as well as doing side quests. You can convert materials into other materials, and of course there's UI updates, which makes it look a little prettier. Did I mention that this is just the first town that all this occurs? The rest of the fucking map is huge, with all of it filled with things like painting challenges, combat challenges, 3 bosses who all have banger music and sick ass attacks, boats to travel on that can cloud surf and go up waterfalls apparently, challenges specifically for collecting chests in an area, echo specific challenges where you punch square boulders and jump really far and eat balls, a fight on a bridge with its own mini cutscene, breakables that actually give you something that matters, and everything that was already a part of the previous maps like chests, caskets, and new echoes, all with unique attacks, abilities, set bonuses, as well as more echo bank levels for more rewards alongside it. I know that was a really long run-on sentence, but that's just to show how much they added to this. I'm only going into a few of these in detail because otherwise I'd probably be close to half an hour on this video, and I know people are gonna go, I ain't watching all that. The bosses all have a variety of reactable and cool looking attacks. It feels like it came straight out of a Souls game, especially with the music in the background for the dragon. So much so that I forgot that I don't have a puny sword that does like 1% of their health, and instead I have a nuke. My first exposure to the update was the music with them, and it got me so hyped up to play this update so I could fight them. And I was not disappointed. The short Lorelei had a opera singer, I think that's the name of it, I'm probably wrong on that got more distorted as the song went, and one that I can only describe as techno Tetris. Like, it's so weird, but it slaps. Renacida feels like it also has even more stuff than the previous areas did, which makes the exploration even more fun, even without thinking about flying or the little cat buff that you get, and that makes you run at double speed. Even without that, there's more in the map, and it made the exploration even more fun than it was already. The set pieces were also something I actually noticed this time around, which is not something I normally see. The last time that I had a set piece really stand out to me was Elden Ring's Caelid. Oh boy, wasn't that an experience. Getting teleported into Caelid and basically having to deal with the red forest and where everything one-shot me. Ah, good times. One of my personal favorites being the Bone Dragon area with my favorite music. There was also the grass plains with a bunch of fancy looking echoes. There was the underground circus, or something like that, and this random town that I found with this funny lamp. Glad to see there's still silly stuff. Being able to fly and see all this from the sky was just damn fun to do, and honestly I kind of want to play it right now instead of doing this review, which is usually a good sign. All the new set bonuses I could see having potential for new and old characters, with the coordinated attack and glacial ones being the first ones I noticed being helpful for the characters I already had. I saw the one that explained that it buffed a debuff, which hints at a debuff related character, which is exciting to see different combat styles potentially coming. I'm going to assume that it was already advertised, but I usually don't try to look at that stuff because I like to be surprised. I guess the last thing I'll talk about is the skin, which has been deemed as pink sheep by the community, which is funny, so I would go with it. I normally never buy anything outside of maybe a battle pass from free-to-play games. This includes any of the gacha games I've played in the past. Fortnite, Apex, and any others I have never spent more than $10 on. Except this game. And quite honestly, I only did it to more support Kuro than anything, so they keep making more stuff like this in the future. That and cute pink blossom Jinchi makes my heart happy. So far, they've also addressed most of the big complaints from people as well as adding things I didn't feel like I even knew I wanted, but they did, and they're all super fun to interact with. Honestly, the only thing I feel like that I would want now is a real co-op mode so I can hop on with randoms or friends and do stuff together. Maybe it could be a boss rush, dungeons, or something else that fits with the game. Or maybe having it so I can actually use more than one character whenever I'm in someone else's world. I don't know how that would work, but I definitely feel like it would be more fun than what we have right now. Other than that, they still cooked hard with this update, and I can say for certain, this game is still peak. What do you guys think? Should they add a skin for Shorekeepers so I can be in more debt? What's your favorite part of the update, and what do you hope to see in the future? Well, that's it, and now I suffocate you in the void. Bye bye.